Croya's underwater mine. So the next one is, oh my gosh. Ruwersh Vespa? Ruwersh? It's a hard name to say. Ruwersh? Ruwersh? It's the water festival. I think, I want to say it was Maddie that pointed me in the direction of this one, but it's a really cute little plot. Orany, so if you're not into orans, this might not be the place for you, but very pretty. I love the landscaping, just some of the elements like the wisp here being from the buoyant blue crystal again. The choice of plants is very bright in places, but very calm. Lots of trees, lots of greenery. There's a lot of like the canopy bushes, the floating bushes. Some of the, I guess that would be the umbrella trees and things like that. There's even some thorny bits there. But you start off with this little, it's kind of like a gazebo type of thing. Maybe this is where they come and make an announcement or something. But look at the construction of that. It's the technophage platform, and then they've used the leaf windows to make these the little topper and then the decoration on the side. And then just strung some lights. These are some of those new Granock string lights that you can use. It looks like Draken pillars and then domes, Oran domes for the little stair step part. Very cute. I don't know if there's a designated path here, so I'm probably going to wander off where I'm not supposed to go, but we'll try and hit everything. Yeah, you can see there's some bits. This is where they got the bit that's the I guess this one is the snow one as well. You see the little poofs of stuff. Could be the massive umbrella tree too, though. I still see some folks using that. The only downside to using the massive umbrella tree is you do have that one big root that sticks out that you have to kind of hide. But one way to do it. So I guess I'm just going to follow the path here that they're using with the windows. But look at the waterfall system here. You've got the geyser fab kit, but you also have all these waterfalls. Look at the lighting just to kind of accent where the water's coming from. It looks like a fountain. So we follow the path and that leads you to the little house, but we'll save that for later. We'll just do the exterior first. So you have these little tiered kind of stair step little sections. So you've got like trees and bits. Here we have a little, looks like a little marketplace. You have different tiers for each little vendor. You have like the little herb vendor here, and then you've got this one is like lamps and furniture. And then look at the little tree arrangements. There's a lot of care. I mean, they right down to all the little rocks and the grasses and bits that they're using. It's almost like little mini biomes, but it's, you know, look at the little rock statue here. Just a layer of rocks, but it's interesting. You know, it's not the same stuff over and over. Here they got the tall finger flowers with some of the, you know, it's the bare trees, but it works cutely. Here we have a little swing made out of, looks like 2x4s, metal edge 2x4s, and 2 pillows. A couple of chains hanging off. Again, They really love their lighting. It helps, you know, kind of highlight things of interest. Here's a little garden. I think I've seen one of these before in another place, but I like the added little fluorescent lighting that they've added. It's just the edge of a beer sign. Now, if you're wondering what that kind of glowing, where it gets dim and then it brightens up, I'm pretty sure that's the circle, the ritual candles. They are very bright and they have that pulsating kind of animation for their lighting. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Looks almost creepy, but not, for the little pumpkin and sunflower patch. Just deck railing for the rails here. Again, this garden is just crazy nuts with all the different, I mean, every little stone, every little clump of grass, it's all added in. I like the tiki roof for the well here, and it looks like they're using the bottom of a glass for the water. You know, if you want just something quick and you don't have to use multiple layers and worry about things poking out the side, the glass is a quick and easy way to do that. The metal dividers for that almost Asian-y looking, but it makes it look like a bright, you know, you can make a cityscape with that and just looks really bright without any kind of lights required. Look at that, just all these little arrangements. I'm trying not to miss anything, but there's just so many things to look at. Here you have a little, it's like a little, well, this is the fireworks thing, I think. The fab kit, because, you know, this is a festival, so this is a good use. You don't really see this one very often. In fact, I think this is only like the second plot I've ever come across that actually has it being, you know, in use. So it fits really nice with this particular theme. Here we have like the little bulletin board. They got even a little fancier by adding in different signs and posters. Let's see, let me go back this way, make sure I didn't miss anything. That was the shops. There's a bot at the taco stand. Fun way, look at all the NPCs they're using. You know, got the noisy lops, and here's the bar. Balloons and red lanterns and bubbling. There's probably a lot of noise. I'm probably thankful I have my sound turned off at the moment. But it certainly looks busy and very festive, active. Again, just pillars and things for a lot of the framework that they're using. And again, I'm not one to use fab kits because I find them awkward to try and, you know, kind of build in, but it's always fun to see people that actually incorporate it so nicely. It just feels like part of their build, even though it's a fab kit. They've gone through the trouble of adding in extra bits, so it looks like they made it themselves. So they've got this like the meditation rocks or whatever, and then you got this little, I guess it's the steam room or something, and then bathroom and everything where you take a shower maybe. Okay, I'm gonna get lost here. Yeah, this looks like a massage table, kind of like what we saw in the other place, but this is a little bit more rustic, a little voodoo-y looking. with all the bits that they have here. And then it just leads off into another fab kit. I think this is I want to say it's the desert biome thing, but I don't know. Might be something else. But here's like little tents and maybe it's the rock garden one. Got a little campfire set up. It's really almost, they've blended it so well, I almost can't tell what the heck it is. And that's good. That's the way you want it. Here's a little pool with the waterfall. Giant flowers. Look at those yellow flowers. Huge. I think those are from the crimson bone bloom. They're just really big and the bones are sunk down. Again, the sparklies are the buoyant blue crystals. A lot of people like using them during the Shades Eve stuff. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Flush-O-Matic 5000 or 3000 or whatever it's called, but I don't know. I guess it's just a personal choice on what you decide to use. I think most people use it sparingly, thankfully. One of the ugliest pieces. Yeah, in a really nice place, it just doesn't suit. It looks more like a marauder kind of place that they would have that Flush-O-Matic thing. So here's the, I guess it's the hot springs fab kit, and look how they've built over it. They've got, it's inside like a cave with all those stepping stones from Starcom Basin. Lots of water bits coming out. I mean, after all, it is the water festival. So a lot of rocks, a lot of stones, a lot of pillows too. This stone here, that's the purple rock arch, I believe. There. And then of course it leads back out to the geyser fab kit. So you come over here, again, more sparklies, probably the winding river, and lots of those stepping stones. It's a really lovely set of stones, but for those that don't have the reputation with that particular bit yet, it's probably a little frustrating. You know, you have other stones, but this is kind of quick because they're already kind of different sizes in that one little clump, and so you can just kind of throw it down, and it's really quick and fast to kind of put it together. It looks like a lot of work, like they've put down every single stone, but it's really like little clumps that they've just sized differently. But it works really nice for this kind of a deal. Let's see, let me go off in here. Like a little personal hidey hole that they've got. I don't know if this is the way I go to this place, but I'm going out there anyway. Just looks like a landing pad. Maybe they've got plans to add more here, this particular spot. Look at the scenery. You know, you got a nice view of the sky. I'm out here. Go this way, back down. Oh, I think these are those canary flowers that you can get from, I think it's WildStar. The only problem with those, I love having access to a lot of the decor that you normally would have to get through challenges and stuff. But it's always disappointing because you go to those vendors and then you discover that some of the stuff that was there already is actually bind on pickup. So the canary flowers, if you don't have the rep or the level with your alt or whatever, you can't use them. And for someone like me that's lazy about leveling up my alts and stuff, it's disappointing, frustratingly disappointing. Okay, so again, we're going to avoid the main house because I think there's some building over here that I can go inside. But crazy busy build. There's a lot of things to look at. I mean, look at the scenery there. It's a pretty bit. So we'll go inside this one first. I assume it's some kind of a bar scene kind of thing. I like the Hugel statues. It's just, it looks like the tops of pillars with the Hugels on it. And you come in and it's like, I don't know if this is the personal residence or what, but look at how they kind of combine things. That's the Draken cabinet, and they just kind of inset it so that it doesn't look too Draken-y. It just looks like a lot of wood, unless you're looking at it from the side. But it's a fun way of making the little shelves there. The tree tables, the orange tree tables, they're using that as like a little display. Got multiples of those. So you have this little display for all their plants. A faux door made out of one of those Draken cabinets. This is the open version, and that's the closed one. And they're even using it so that it's inset, and then you see just the symbol, the little dragon. Same way here, another faux door. But it gives the illusion that there's actually more to the place than there actually is. Here's our little library section. It's a little tough to get to the books with that big old tree there, but and then it comes out onto this little decking area. Again, they may have plans of adding more. I suspect with all of the stuff that's out here already, they may be pretty close, if not already at the cap. You know, that's the tough thing when it comes to this kind of stuff. With all of the detail of the buildings and everything, I mean, look at the railing, all of the pieces they had to use for that, and it's literally everywhere. And then, you know, all the pieces for the buildings, that eats up your decor count, and so it leaves it where that's why a lot of people resort to faux rooms and buildings, because they just don't have the luxury of being able to fill them up with the details that they want to. I know there's at least a few builders that really can't stand when other builders do those faux buildings, but I sympathize, and you know, I think as long as it's not overly done, but done in strategic places like here and inside that room where they've still got a really lively room, an interesting room, but they kind of indicate that there's more to it, I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with it. But I really like the buildings. Again, it's got an Asian feel to it, not only because of the, looks like the rice paper window kind of thing going on, but the roofing, just how it's fluted like that. And it's just, it looks like some Exile floors for the topper, and then cover part pieces for that flare. I don't know what part that is, but it's one of the ramps, I think. One of the ramp bits. Notice, you know, there's probably bits they'll be adding here to kind of cover up the part that they don't want showing. Look at the greenhouse. Look at that. It's just lots of glass, curved glass, overgrowth. Notice got a smooth way of going to the different buildings using the ladders. Double, it's, I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of detail here. Let's go inside this one. So I don't know, this is like a gaming room, practice room. Again, folks find fun ways of using their welders when they're practicing on their targets. It's like a little club room or something. And then you have the little tippy top tower up here. There's a great view of the plot from this point. Now, normally I don't like dark plots of the sky because you lose a lot of detail, but when it's so brightly lit nicely, um, you know, it looks better, even if you have to do without that. This is a little strange, like they're worshiping the poster. Look at the look on the guy's face. It just looks fun. Just kind of odd, but just curved walls, domes, a few pillars. I think it's the Cassian versions. And then look at the hill. It just keeps going. Stones on top of stones on top of stones. It's nuts. I hesitate to go jumping off on there, but just want to see. You can see the waterfall area here. One of the fab kit parts. The water source is the pillars up here. And it just trickles on down. Got a good shot of where we come in. That's the entrance there, and that first little, I don't know, gazebo thingy. Woo. Her idol being, yeah, it could be. Some kind of weird groupie. Tales from the Fringe groupie. Okay, so let's take a look inside the greenhouse. Again, they're repeating that little hoogle bit. When you're doing the hoogle theme or Orin theme, hoogles play a big part. It's always good to have that. I'm going to close this door so we can get around a little easier. But here you have their little prize plants, I guess. Some of them in cylinder encasements and others not. But mostly granite pillars for the bases of the shelving, and then Cassian bits here, or in cylinders, I mean not cylinders, domes probably for this. It could be the cylinders too, either or will probably work. And then they've got the bar and the bookshelves, but the bar, they've added in their own little bits. I mean, it already came stocked with, well, actually, this might be the empty one. And they've just added in all the flowers and bits where they're studying their plants. What he's doing there, I don't know. Because he's not a plant. But let's see if I can get a good shot of the design on the glass. Got that little mounted generator. Apply some of the oxygen or something. I don't know. Come on, open up. Oh, I didn't go this way. Okay, what else? What else? Yeah, I think this is another fab kit that they've put in here. Is that the date one? Date night or something? That's where you get the little heart balloons. I'm not really familiar with most of the fab kits because, like I said, I don't use them myself. So this one we already went into, I think. Yeah. So I'm not sure about that one, but I think it's the date one. So I think that's all of the exterior. You know, I don't want to go rampaging around in the unfinished parts because it would just detract from the beauty of this plot. Let me get a good shot of the waterfalls over here. Goes nicely with the geyser. Look at all those little wisps there. Again, the lighting really helps, calls attention to those elements up there. So that leaves us the interior, I think. And I'm not sure what lighting they're using. I think it's the fire one or the hellfire or something like that, because it looks like ash floating in the air. So it has a little bit of a smoky look. But look at all of the bits they've got hanging. I mean, there's all kinds of string lights, both from just the red lanterns, but also the Winterfest version. They really wanted to pull up on that red. And just look at all the bits. Just all sorts of knickknacks. I love the way they did the shelf here. I think there's a picture somewhere of this particular Oren house where it actually has a shelf built in, but for whatever reason that didn't get actually added into the model of the house. And it's fun to see how people kind of build their own. And this is a good way, just using the domes and just tearing it up, and so they end up with these nice little shelves. Because that particular part where the wood is showing, it's just an awkward shape, and a lot of people had trouble using it as an element in their house, but this is a good way, a good solution. Like the double TV, if they can't stand watching the same channel, they have, you know, they can watch their own. There's a little bit, look at the water coming off the rain gutters. I think it's one of the few times I've actually seen the lighter sitting out. Not many people have that showing. Go in here. This is a little bar area. Bot with the cowboy hat on. I like this little table here. It looks like 2x4s. And look at the little design. Well, you can't really see it because I got that silly use sign. There we go. Even little bracketry there. Again, it really keeps kind of going back to that Asian theme because they got this little bonsai tree going. And of course all the red. I think the red really helps. I like their little treasure pile with all the some of the new chests that you get from some of the rare bosses in some of the different zones. But look at the stairway and all of the railing and supports and stuff. Really a lot of detail on just that. Let me get out of here if I can. I'm stuck. There we go. Let's go up here. Look at that. Look at the... I know it's the staircase is standard, but they've added in like the walls for the red, so it makes it look a little bit more lush. And then the railing itself, that's all, you know, just 2x4s. Same way with here with the railing. Even this bit's here, that's a dome. And then they got, if you're wondering what that's the, I think it's the Winterfest emblem. Look how they've got the little roses in the pattern of the glass. That's what it looks like to me. It might not be a rose, but... Yeah, Poi, I agree. I think that several have suggested that we would really love, even if they kept it at 5,000, if we could decide that we want 4,000 of that on the exterior and only 1,000 on the interior, that would be very welcome. So then, you know, the initial cap is the same, but we have the choice of divvying it up wherever we want. Because most people do not even come close to the 2,500 on the interior. That's not to say that there aren't those out there that do it, but I think the majority don't. And having that flexibility to switch it up however we want to divide it between inside and outside, I think that would really make a lot of people happy. So here's the little kitchen. And I mean, just look at, you got the water coming out into this little rock garden. You've got this little gaming table. Look at the little like checkers set. looks like domes being used as the pieces, and then different boards. It's like one giant uh, oran floor, and then little miniature casting ones to make the different blocks. This would be the Exile wall, and then they've just encased it in 2x4s to finish it off as a nice little gaming table. Again, using the orange tree tables for little shelving. Look at the little, I love the little carrot, little dolls. Look at the girl one and the little boy one. Just a lot of little bits. Go back down this way. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's one from here. Go up here and close this. Now, this little pocket of space here, a lot of people ignore it, but I love it when folks find interesting. I've seen people use it as a way to make a kitchen. They'll like build a little up area here and have the kitchen, or it's the bathroom, or it's just storage. And this is a really cute idea, having it like a little greenhouse kind of thing where you can see all them little hoogles. I like the little round window, even the way they've divvied it up, that's really Asian looking to me. Again, here's those, it looks like tanks, but also the medical cot hovering to give that little movement. Might even be a piece of one of the blue light lounge table things to give that movement back there. It kind of looks like that. For these aquariums. Because that's always the trouble, trying to make it look like water. They have done a good job. And, you know, a lot of people really have trouble with this hallway, myself included, trying to come up with ways to kind of spice it up rather than just it be an empty space. And having it like this, these little pockets of interest really help break it up. Here's like little tiered seating areas. And then you come down into this room. Look at that. Like a library back there. Again, it's a little crowded. You can't hardly get back into it, but I like the idea. Do not enter. Danger. So it's like a jungle. Maybe it's the back door and it leads outside. That's a clever way of kind of indicating that. But look at the stair. Again, the railing and stuff is all done themselves. Even the trim here, kind of box that in. It's not perfect, but it's really nice. I like it. And this is another thing, having the entrance, you know, when you're building your own stairs and floors, being able to smoothly find a way to kind of have that opening, not look forced or awkward. This is a great example of how, you know, a right way to do it. They're using the arches as, you know, just an oblong, smooth, rounded way of putting together and having that lead in nicely into this next room. Because I know when I build staircases and stuff, usually I build the floor too close and you get stuck, and that can be troublesome. And this is a good way to solve that. Just open it up a little better. You know, it's not only just makes it easier on whoever's visiting your house so that they don't get stuck on it, but it's an interesting view. You know, from down below you have a glimpse of what's there, and same way from above you have a glimpse of the other room. So here's the bedroom. Again, a lot of little details. I mean, they had to put all these books in here, all the little items that they chose to show off. Good way to do your plushie collection. They built the shelf out of 2x4s. They used uh, they've got if I can get the camera to zoom out like I want it, because I want to do it. I can't tell if there's glass there or not. It might be. That might be why I can't go out. But it looks like 2x4s for most of the railing, and then they've added that Winterfest fencing to just give it a little extra design. Just little things like that can go such a long way. See if you can get a better shot of that. Yeah, there. It's a really adorable little home. I hate to say it's also a fave because I'm having too many faves. I'm probably up to like, 50 faves so far. Because every time I come across a home, it's like, wow, that's so awesome. And it's like, wow, that's so awesome too. A lot of plants, a lot of stones, a lot of detail. Definitely a place you want to visit if you have the chance. So that was Rubersh. Gosh, I'm so saying that wrong. Rurursh. Rubersh Vespa. Oh, eyes itching. So on to the next house, and that would be okay, I think I spelled that wrong. Let me try that again. Let me check my list. I am misspelling the name. Oh, I forgot the K. Silly me. There we go. Yeah, boy, that's my aim, to make it tough for you. So this is, let me see if I say this one right, Sarana Arcanian's home. Sarana Arcanian. It's called An Angel's Paradise. And as I said the last time we took a look at one of these plots with the kind of like it's total sky, I said now that we've seen it, we'll probably see more of that. And here you go. Here's another plot. I actually have about 3 or 4 more plots that have similar use of the sky with the layered glass, making it look like a full-on sky so that everything's kind of floating. But at least 2 of them are not finished, and I just have some other homes that I wanted to show off today, so I didn't show off the others. But this is a really nice example of that. It's a little more cleaner looking than the other one that we saw. The other one, it's still, you could see like some of the little machine bits on the edges, and this one is pretty much just gone. You have to really look hard to see the things that they're trying to hide. Don't see it right now, but every now and then you'll see this really faint little like shadow of those gadgetries on the side of the house. But this is a really lovely use of this technique, I guess you could call it. So we have these floating islands. Even the platform itself looks floating just because of how they were able to position the glass. So it's just, it looks like it's just there. They're using the rope bridges for the connections, and then the little broken pillars for the ends of that. And just notice all of the little details of all the plants that they're adding and everything. Yeah, it's really bright. It almost reminds me of Exonite, but for people that have a knack for this kind of a build, this is ideal, as you know, For some, I know there's other floating island things that didn't mind using the ground as well. You know, other ways of using it. In fact, I'll probably be showing some of those the next time we visit the Exiles bit. But for those that want that different kind of look, this is definitely a version. So you have these all little islands that are joined by hanging bridges, rope bridges, and you can see they're using the snowy hills. You see the little puffs of white coming up, and then just surrounding them and covering those bottoms with the stones. A little bit of overgrowth here and there to kind of, you know, not make it all just rock. They kind of break it up a little bit. Some do it a little differently than others, but you can see there's just so many little islands that they've got. We're going to visit each and every one that we can reach at least. Notice not all of them are attached. So they've got like this little island one with the deciduous trees on there. This one's got a little island of tall, it looks like the ginkgo trees, the new ones. Even the shapes of the islands are different. It's not like they just made one and then they copied it and just sized it differently. There's different shapes. This one looks like a little more like a cone, and that one's a little more domey, and that kind of thing. So they took care in mixing it up. Let's see. So let's go this way first. These are those new torches. I think it's the taurine style. Looks like a little, it looks like an actual, like a staff, but they've got it sunk inside here to, I don't know if this makes any sound. I don't have my sound on, but I assume so. And they give it a little bit of lighting probably. Not that this place needs it because it's so bright with that white bit, but because of the size of the glass they're using, it just fades off into the background. So this first island is kind of like a shrine, and well, I hate to say there's not much to it. Let me just close that off so it'll quit sitting up there. I hate to say there's not much to it, but there's really just a few elements. I think this is the new dais that you could get from one of the dungeon challenges, and then they have the Exonite bits, and it's part of the coloring and part of the lighting, I would assume, that makes it look more purple than yellow, which is kind of weird, but it actually does kind of tone it down a little bit. But look at the benches that they made. It's the same, it's the Exonite walls and then the Exonite pillars, and they've just made these cute little benches. And then of course the Exonite tree. Very bright, but I don't know, it seems okay. Maybe some wouldn't like it, but it's a nice little touch, something different. So let's go to the next one. And this one's kind of like a garden. So you have this, it's kind of like a shrine too, but it's more nature-y. As opposed to the Exonite one. Not that the Exonite one doesn't have nature on it, they've got the trees, but this one's look a little bit calmer. You've got the shaper stones. These are the ones that you, I think it's the, oh, what's that instance called? It starts with an A, I think. It just completely flew out of my brain. Oh, I don't remember. But it's an instance. It's one of the newer ones. If you complete it, you get one of the stones and you unlock the other four in the decor. Does anybody know remember the name of that? I know, like right on the tip of my tongue. Arcterra keeps going through my brain, and I know that's not it. That's the next patch thing. But Alpha Sanctum, is that it? I think it's that one. Alpha something. But that's, if you complete that one, then you get to unlock them all. In case you're wondering, for those that aren't sure how to get a hold of that particular decor piece. So then we go off into the next little island, and it's kind of like a junction on its own. Yeah, I think it's Alpha Sanctum. I think. Don't quote me on it. I could be wrong. Now, I hesitate to do this because I'm probably going to fall, but I think you're supposed to be able to get to these other islands on this side by jumping from this tree. And I worry that I'm going to miss it. I'm being really careful. There we go. So you have these little islands join. While there's not a whole lot there, it plays into the whole idea that you got all these little islands floating around, and some are joined and some aren't. Again, I'm very nervous about doing this because I'm probably going to have to start over at the front, but we're going to try it. Oh my gosh, I hate jumping stuff. I am so bad at it. Something that looks so simple, I can really mess it up. So if you want to do me a favor, don't make a jumping puzzle kind of plot because that really makes me nervous. But this gives a good view of like the main island over there. And I'm sure if they have room, they'll probably add more things. But I kind of like the simplicity of some of these. It's just a really nice little, you could come here, sit with some friends, have a chat, and you have this lovely scene to go by. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I didn't really get into some of the features of like Guild Wars. They had those jumping puzzle things, and I was so horrible at those. And you know, all those platforming games, those were my bane. Like, yeah, just any of them that required skill in that regard, I was just bad at. So here again, it's another kind of little shrine thing beneath the mangrove tree. But again, even though these islands, there's not a lot to them, it just looks pretty. I got the canopy and tree there. Even the what's it called? The exonite floating trees. So you got it's like little different biomes. You know, you've got some from the defile looking part, and then Celestion, and that's like Algarock, and then you got, you know, this one's just kind of what they made it. Okay, let's see if I can get to the main island without falling. I think going down will be a little easier. I say that and then I'm gonna probably fall, but I think I can cheat and just skip the stones. Okay, this is where I may mess up. At least this one seems nicely spaced. There's some that are really, that one looks a little far for me. Little cruel, they space it, and the size of the item you have to drop on is like the size of a dime, and they're just mean, and I don't like those type of plots. That's why I probably don't really showcase them too much, because I can't, you know, it's not going to help to showcase a plot if I can't visit all of the areas. So the main one is the actual house itself, and they've done the glass dome. Since I made mine way back, I'm not saying people are copying me, but from then on I've seen a lot of domes, and it's just fun to note that certain elements, it kind of becomes, you know, you do it like maybe you make a sign, and then you see that other people make a sign kind of thing, like a, you know, crossroads kind of thing, just like the sky itself, how they've set it up. We saw it once, so I anticipate we'll be seeing it more, and here we are, we're at another one. So it's just fun how things kind of, you know, people take it and add it and use it their own way. So you can see they just lined the backing of it with some stones to kind of close it off a little bit. for a little bit of privacy, I guess. Not that, you know, it's blocked off from where everybody could actually come and look, but you can see that it's completely encased except for the very front. And it looks to me like the main structure is a dome and then some curved walls, or like maybe it's a cylinder, so that they get that edging, that little raised part. And then that's what they put the glass dome on top. And then they're just using the floors patched in nicely for that extra floor. Well, I visited a plot, I guess it was last week, that I was checking out to see if I wanted to tour it this week. And I actually died 3 times because it is so high up. You know, I know there's a couple of builders that talk about the elevation is kind of low. They want it even higher. And I actually died 3 times. That was on Dominion side, I think. My poor little Chua croaked. Of course, he doesn't have a whole lot of health anyway because he's on like level 14. But still, you know, I croaked 4 times, and then, well, 3 times because I kept falling off. But I'm going to have to practice because if I show off that plot, I'm going to have to be able to at least get up there initially before I can show it, because I don't want to be just spend the whole, you know, tour time trying to get up there. But this is a fun example of using that new stone door that we have access to, or had access to. This is that celestial gnarled root that they're using as the archway. I don't know if that's 1 or 2 of them. It might be 2. I can't tell. But then they're using the stone door for the entrance. I think, yeah, that's one of the new elemental NPCs for that. But it's a really cute way of doing the doorway. And for the backing, they've just got, you know, several of the arches to kind of cover it up. So it's a really fun little entrance. Yeah, but Ducky, I always forget that. You know, in my moment of panic, which I have a lot of those, I never remember to click the crystal. It's like, oh no! And then by the time I think, you know, well, it's too late then. I'm already squished. So here we have the main living space. You got the living room here and the kitchen over here. And you can see, again, they're using the floors for that upper area, and then using the domes for the flooring and tiered leveling here. Using different ones, you've got the Cassian dome for the kitchen floor, and wow, he's huge. I don't think he's supposed to be that big. And then the Orin one for the living room. It's just another fun way of dividing up your spaces so they have a little bit more definition of what's where. And you know, just another way of kind of, you know, don't have to use the carpets, but if you know, want to kind of split it off from the other. And it also kind of keeps that circle with the round house. You want to have round elements as well, and that's a good way of doing it. Using the windmill blades as a ceiling fan. You've got curved walls, just multiples of those till they form a bench. So you've got one that's raised up a little bit higher than the other so that it forms the backing, and then you just have 3 or 4 sit down so that you have the bench. And then they just lined it with pillows. So it's like, you know, you can have a whole guild sitting here watching the TV. The table itself is just, I think it's a dome, and then they've got the Orin window sitting on top of it. Notice that the window looks a little crooked, and that's just the way it's made. It's kind of an odd thing anyway. I think they got the new taco items out for those that haven't tried them yet. They're pretty funny looking. That's one of the new Valentine plushies as well, for those that haven't seen them yet. Here we have a little display case. They even went through the trouble of having a little descriptor, like a plaque kind of thing. Just an open book, some Cassian pillar, dome, and then the curved glass. Here we have a very fancy fireplace. It's just panes of glass, and then the bottom of it is the top of a pillar, and then the little small campfire. How they get into it to give it the wood, I don't know. I don't see like a little panel where you would like tick it and it goes up. I don't know. This centerpiece here, that's cover part pieces. I don't know what part, but that's what it is. That's where you get that little metal look as well. That's part of the dining table's an interesting little setup. It's kind of like a shadow box. So it looks like they've got a couple of snowy hills stuck together to make this little scenery, because it's matching the ground from below. And then they've just boxed it in with hover part pieces for the base of the table, and then topped it with arches. So then you get a clear view of this. It's like a little landscape. You got the rocks and the grass and the flowers. It's a really pretty little way of setting up a table, a fancy table. I like their little, I assume that's supposed to be like their napkins. I don't think that's like a log of something to eat. Well, Soccer, I haven't seen one yet. Maybe he's upstairs. But I don't think the robot's supposed to be that big. That's one of the kind of the buggy things. I think when we resize some of these new NPCs, sometimes they bork and go back to their natural size. I think he was actually smaller the last time I was here. Now the kitchen, it uses again one of my favorite pieces, which would be the travel poster. And they use that extensively for the cabinetry here, countertops, and everything. And then the shelving is just 2x4s. For the shelves up above, that's just staircase landings with, it looks like files for the handles. Whoops, walking on the dishes there. The dry rack itself is just an Oran floor, and then they've got 4 or 5 of these wooden 2x4s acting as like slanted slat thingies, so that they can inset the dishes to dry. And that's that famous kitchen sink. We can actually get that from the Boxing Fab Kit again. I've actually seen more and more of those show up on the auction house. For the longest, it was like 1, and they wanted like 50 plat for it. But I think it's down to about 1 to 4 plat now, depending on how many are up. I think you only get a chance to get it, though, if you can actually complete the challenge, which I have never been able to do. So I will never get one myself without buying it. The table here, again, is just travel posters, and then the wooden crate. Cabinetry, again, the staircase landings, files. The bulletin board is just a giant poster. Again, they're using the curved walls as walling here. The refrigerator, these are Chua shelves with, I think, I'm not sure what the handles are on that. I want to say it's the body scanner, but I think that's actually a different metal. I'm not positive what the handles are there. Excuse me. But the refrigerated section here on this part, again, is travel posters. You've got looks like window frames, and then the graded shelves for that. Looks pretty nice. I like the cleanliness of the lines and everything. Okay, so that's all of that floor. So then we go up to the next one. It looks like they're just using 2x4s for the stairs. That's a lot of 2x4s. And then hover part pieces for some of this, including the ascending ramps, 2x4s for these little drop-offs. And then look at the little vase for the flower. It's bowls sandwiched together with the portable planter, and then they just put the flower in. But it's a really cute little mishmash of bowls, just to make it look different. Here's the library, office, home office kind of thing. Again, hover part pieces, but notice how they trimmed it. They got Exile floors and then metal edge 2x4s just to trim it up, make it look different and cleaner. That's those edge pieces that comes down to a little point, and then the point they've covered with the orange chandelier. Here's the bedroom. Again, really nice little designs. You've got a little dresser set here. 2x4s galore, metal edged ones for the drawers, and of course the files for the handles. The bed itself is looks like Exile walls for the headboard, and then this part is 2x4s, and then the I think it's the orange shelves, the ones that cost renown like $250 or something. They have that little curved little doohickey bit. I think it's 2 of them stuck together to make that little ornate decoration on there. Sleeping bags for the blankets, and of course the pillows. Again, people find fun ways of displaying their collections, be it plushies or posters. We've got the cabinet, dressing cabinet, just like on the other side. They even have some built-in shelves here. Got your clothes and stuff on this part. Don't know. Yeah, there's some over here. So see, it's little details like that. Here they got that vase again. It looks like there's room to grow. I mean, there's lots of space that they could utilize with other things. But I would imagine they're probably getting close, because I can tell you the dome itself took a lot of glass pieces. And then here we come to the bathroom. So we've got the cabinetry kind of repeated from below, but just made lower. So you have a little full-on countertop. A window for the mirror. Using see, that's like the wrong toilet for this place that looks so out of place. They really need to. If there was anything I would change about this, that would be the very first thing, is to change it to a different toilet. Because it just looks so not part of this. Here's the tub. I like the way they've got the water going. I probably would have done this because it doesn't look like it matches, but using the Chua tank as the water source and then having the water come out and then go into the drain. It's just hover part pieces and metal edge 2x4s for the framework and staircase part. Can you imagine taking a bath here where, you know, anybody and their brother could sneak up on you? Look at the design that it ended up making for that for the dome. Everybody, I think, unless you're using the exact same coordinates as someone else, I don't think you would have any of them match up exactly the same. This doesn't look anything like mine, but it's a similar idea. But I love how the glass, the framework plays on, you know, with the light, leaves all those pretty shadows. Yeah, exactly, Ducky. It's just, it looks so not a part of this build. It's really the only thing I feel really adamant about, that that does not belong. The toilet must go. So yeah, that is Serana Arcanian's An Angel's Paradise. Really lovely build, nicely executed, and definitely room to grow. You know, even if they've hit their limit, if ever the opportunity comes along to expand on that, I'm sure they will seize it and make it even more awesome than it already is. So, the last house for today, and it's probably a good thing because my throat is starting to really dry up here. People have such complicated names, and I say that and mine gets misspelled a lot. This is Calathiel Breyer's house. It does say no, it is not finished, but it's public. I'm going for it. I don't care if it's finished or not. I think it's incredible looking as it is. So I just got to come and visit anyway. So if you're wondering about these stones, these dark brown stones, those are, I think there's two different items that it could be, and it's probably the fence post. I think it's, I want to say it's a Draken fence post. On the bottom of it, there's these stones, and in fact, I'm planning on using it for one of my builds as well. Um, it's really just, it's a quick item to use if you're wanting some kind of a rocky formation, and you just have to, you know, be able to sink the top part down that you don't want. But it's not a lamp or anything, so you don't have to worry about using up your lighting count or anything. It's just a fence post from what I recall. But I think there's two different versions that you can use and get away with this. So that's a fun little rock formation. I think they come up with the same problem that I did. I've been having trouble covering this thing. I've seen people talk about how they were able to cover it with these sandstones. If you turn it upside down, position it under, and then size it up. But no matter how I do it, I never can get it to work. So I'm going to have to figure out something else. Um, some would probably just use a snowy, upside down snowy hill and just push that in and make it covered with sand right here. So that's an option they can think about. Yeah, this is just the housing zone. So unless I just happen to catch the person that owns it, typically you don't really come across very many people. The evening time you might, if you're like visiting a lot of the bars and things, because there are a lot of role play groups that congregate on some of these housing plots. But generally speaking, there's just nobody around, which is kind of fun because you can just explore at your leisure and not worry about folks bugging you or whatever. So this is, I'm just going to call it the floating house. It's not really floating, it just has that illusion because of the way they built it, but it's this rocky platform. There's also exonite stone kind of joining it in the middle, and then you've got the more stones here. But look at that massive waterfall scene back here. Look at the craziness of that. You've got all this water pouring along the ground and streaming along out to the end. Just tons of stones, lots of waterfalls, and then the little lighty effect at the bottom is those the bottoms of the hovering medical cots. They could probably add a little bit of a splash effect using the animation from the buoyant blue crystals. That would probably add a little extra element as well. Yeah, Ducky, I've had that too. I've come across one time I interrupted a wedding accidentally. I mean, it wasn't on purpose, and it was just two people that, but they were having a little ceremony, you know, just between the two of them, and it was a little embarrassing. I was like, you know, just ignore me. I'm just passing through. But yeah, you just kind of stumble on it sometimes. Generally speaking, I don't really run into very many people. Um, But it's fun when you run into the builder because then you can ask them questions, you know, because I've mailed builders before and very rarely get a response. Uh, I don't know if it's just people just don't want to talk about their builds or what, but or they just don't visit anymore or something. But yeah, I've stumbled across a few things. For like some guilds, I think a lot of them will close it up to private and make it so that only neighbors can get in and things like that. But even still, you come across situations that's a little awkward. Yeah, I've met a lot of people in that same way. Um, and once they discover why I'm there, you know, that I'm checking it out for possible, you know, showcasing and stuff, then they're like, oh, well, have you been to this one and that one and this one? And I have a friend, and it's really helpful. I really like that. So see there, you can see part of the fence post. They're using the stone, but they don't have it completely sunk in, so you can see part of it, like the rope and everything. But you know, just trying to get a good all-around view of that the structure for the house there. You know, part of it is a fab kit, I think, one of the biomes for what is it, Daradoon or Malgrave, maybe, probably Malgrave. Um, but then they've got this little structure up there, and the way that they've done it is these nice little pillars that they've got, which is, like I said, fence posts. They're using the new boardwalk pieces and then supporting them with 2x4s and things. And that's how you get up here. You get a good view. That nice little partial canyon wall kind of thing. And then you come up to this little house. Oh, well, it looks like we're going to be limited to 30 minutes. Good thing I'm on the last house then, isn't it? Let's see if we don't rush through this, you know, because of the time limit, but hopefully we'll get it all. So you have the house. It's mostly built out of granite walls. There is some Draken fencing being used for some of the decoration, granite pillars, and of course stones, bits of overgrowth and things like that. You even have some Draken domes for that. These parts here is the Galeras walls. And then you have the door. And look at this lovely little, I don't know, it's like a little penthouse kind of thing. They really wanted to bring that water feature even up into the house up here. So you've got little peaks of water coming down from like the patio here, little terrace kind of thing. So you see the waterfall is also, it kind of mirrors what's going on in the background. You have it up here too. So look at all those winding rivers and waterfalls. It's nuts, but a really pretty effect. You have the little where they have their helicopter ride, and you've got a little seating area here for some private little luncheons or something. And then you've got the little like living room den area. This is where the desk is and the library kind of bits. Over here you have the kitchen. Again, pretty basic, but like little things like the little shelf, the Marauder shelf for the utensils. You've got 2x4s for the cabinetry here, and also shelves. It's Exile shelves for not only this little bit, but also the top, the countertop there. And this little island here is just sandwiched bars, little bars. We got the little living room here with the couch, just Chua's pillows for that. The staircases are just, you know, looks like regular staircases, and they've just kind of sunk it in. This little bit is the Exile gear lamp, cylinder, maintenance platform, and then more cylinders and curved glass for the fireplace. Really cute little thing. Notice how they kind of boxed in a little bit of the ceiling. Up here you have the bedroom and the little display area. So they've got some treasured bits. Here's a little, looks like a little mini scene. You got a treasure thing like a little lop village or something, little campground. And then on this one you have the brilliant blue crystal with the gear lamps again. Yeah, I understand that, Maddie. Freudian slip. Oh gosh, but yeah, I understand what you mean. Like, there's a couple of houses that I know for a fact are still there, and they had that 300 limit that they're still sitting there, and it's a little sad that they're no longer in the game, but it's kind of like a memorial kind of thing for anyone working on some steampunk stuff. Those gears are really a nice touch. Kind of throwing that out there. I know there's at least one working on one. Let's see, that's the bedroom. And I think that's it for the interior of the house. So just all that, just a little quaint little living spot, you know, just for, you know, person and his friend or whatever. And the last thing we have to look at is the little hidey spot inside the Exonite area. Yeah, I suspect that's probably what it is, Poi, because that is supposed to be today, unless they've changed their mind. But yeah, I hope it goes smoothly. Fingers crossed it goes smoothly. So anyway, here's the base of this little pillar kind of structure thing. It's a combination of stones and Exonite, and if you go inside it, you find this lovely little scene. They've even got the biome doorway all decorated up, but then they got all this water that's coming off from the top feeding down into this pool. And again, that effect that they're getting is from the upside down medical cots. And look at the weirdness of the pillars, how they kind of come to a little weird point. So it's like, how is that staying up? You know, it's like magic. And just kind of weirdly done, but interesting too. And then you have this little black hole, and that's from, I think it's the cellar entrance that's been just kind of covered up, so you can't see the cellar part itself, you just see the black hole. And if you go into the black hole, that's where you get access to the downstairs, the bunker house. But it's a really clever little interesting build. It's a fun idea. Definitely not something you see all the time. So we go off inside, and then here we see where that hole is up top. It's mirrored. And just go back out again so you can see that. It's mirrored down below. So here's the opening up top, and then when you go inside, you're looking at it from the bottom. It's a good way of kind of tying the two areas together so it doesn't feel like two separate things. They've made a good go of trying to match it together. So it goes from the hole up above, and then you just goes down into another little area. And you have this wonderful little cavey under rivers, you know, underground springs kind of thing. You got some trees, a little bit of stones, looks like a little bit of a shrine going on, and just some overgrowth here and there. Got some strange bits showing that probably shouldn't, but you know, you can overlook it. This is too fun to really knock it. Again, using that cellar entrance for that little hole there. But I really like the concept of them playing as if we're looking at that hole from the bottom. It's really not an easy thing to do to make it work. So again, just there we see it from the top. How fun is that? That's just clever in my eyes. Clever, clever. So yeah, that is the last of that. That would be a Calithiel Briar's place. Again, it clearly indicated by the title of the plot. It is not finished. How much further they can go with it, I'm not sure, because definitely with all of those stones and things and the waterfalls and all of the details they've already put in, I'm sure they're, you know, peaking at that limit. But should be fun to come back sometime and see how it's progressed, what changes they've made, and things like that. Yeah, I thought about that, Ducky, about making some extras. I did that with the other merger that we had when we had all the PvE ones come together. Um, so that's how I ended up with like 20 something tunes. But I just couldn't bring myself to try and do that on the PvP one as well. But you know, folks that take advantage of it, that's just more houses to tinker with, I guess, at some point. But anyway, I don't want to have it shut off unexpectedly. So we were going to wrap up today. I hope you guys had fun. I really enjoyed all these houses. In fact, I enjoy all of the ones that I show. If I show it on here, that really means that I think it has a great potential to inspire other builders with new and interesting ideas to work on their own plots. And so I'm always looking for something unique and special. And you know, even if there's some bits that kind of look similar to other ones, it's always fun to see the differences and how people apply a certain idea in a different way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I would like to remind that we are getting ready, getting closer to my 50th house tours episode. I will be posting a special announcement about that will cover all of the details this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. I'm hoping to make it kind of a big celebration kind of thing. Essentially, what we're going to do is that 50th episode will be like a favorites from over the past year or so, because my 50th episode actually literally lands like 2 weeks shy of my 1 year streaming milestone. So it's kind of a double celebration that I've been doing this goofy stuff for that long, and people are still hanging with me, and I appreciate that, and I want to give something back for them. So it's going to be an opportunity to kind of interact with you guys as far as deciding what places we're going to revisit. But also I'm going to try and, you know, bring some goodness to you guys your way. But more details on that this weekend. I will be posting that probably Sunday, but it might be Saturday. I'm so anxious to get it going. I'm, you know, having to restrain myself from posting it, you know, like a month ago. But it will be, once I post it, it will be a month from then before we actually have the episode. So you'll have an entire month to kind of contribute what you can. And hopefully folks will join up for that. Again, today's maintenance should be bringing in the mergers for the PvP realms into the PvE ones. So Loom and I will be joining Jabbit, and Warhound will be joining Entity. Fingers crossed that goes smoothly, that we don't have a lot of problems, because we all know where that will lead if there are any. But I'm a realist. Even though I'm optimistic, I know that, you know, bad things can happen. So I'm not going to freak out if it does. And hopefully everybody else will kind of, you know, take it in stride. Our community is pretty resilient in some ways. Other ways we kind of just run around like chickens with our heads cut off. But hopefully the former overtakes the latter kind of way. But yeah, so probably tomorrow and Friday we'll be just going back to doing any kind of last minute things on the Easter plot, because you know, as well as me posting the 50th episode announcement, I do have the guild event going on this weekend. So for those of you that are interested in trying to find the eggs yourself, you're more than welcome to come. It will be open to the public. I'll be closing it down on Friday, um, just so that I have time to hide the eggs and everything. And then Saturday morning, I'll be opening up um, Celery's plot so that people can come. All I ask is that if you do, please don't post or chat around about where you find the eggs, because I'm trying to keep it kind of interactive and challenging for my guildmates. So I would appreciate that if you do it. Just do it for your own fun if you can find them all. I'm not telling anyone how many eggs I've hidden. So that kind of adds to the challenge. So maybe you find 32 and you think, oh, there's got to be more because it's probably like 35, but you won't know until that time comes when I reveal how many eggs there actually were. And then you say, well, I only found like half of that or something. But I will kind of probably go over where all the eggs are at a later date. But so yeah, that's this weekend, the Easter egg hunt on Celery Greenleaf's plot. Yeah, until then, I think it's just going to be last little touches that I can throw on there. And then probably next week, we'll see about starting up some other new project or finding out what else I've been working on the side. Until then, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate all the follows, the likes, the retweets, tweets, the company, of course. And I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, and good luck with the maintenance later. Bye-bye.